7 worst NFL players of all time. Number 7, Paxton Lynch. Peyton Manning just retired and the Broncos are looking for a new quarterback. So they draft Paxton Lynch in the first round. 6'7", 245 pounds. The perfect quarterback. What could go wrong? Everything. Paxton Lynch only played 2 games his rookie season, which was enough for the Broncos to realize he stinks. That's rude. Now he has a second chance in his second season, but he gets injured in the preseason. He hurt his shoulder, missing 10 games. The moment of truth, week 11. Paxton Lynch is healthy, had 1 year to develop, and is ready to show the NFL he was not a bust. And his first game back, he had 9 completions for 41 yards, no touchdowns, 1 interception, and he hurt his ankle. Dang it. And he never played an NFL game again. Embarrassing. Number 6, Ryan Leaf. In 1998, the Colts drafted Peyton Manning number 1 overall. But the Chargers had the number 2 pick, and they were happy that Peyton Manning was gone because they thought a better quarterback was available. Ryan Leaf. Leaf had a great start, winning his first 2 games as a starter. Hooray. But then his career fell apart. You gotta be kidding me. Ryan Leaf had anger issues. After losing some games, he started insulting reporters, even cursed at his general manager. So he got suspended. When he came back to football, he was a different player, an angry and simply terrible player. He finished his rookie season with 2 touchdowns and 15 interceptions. Then his second year, he got injured and missed the entire season. And in 2000, Ryan Leaf returned. He showed us that he was the best at being bad. 11 touchdowns, 18 interceptions, and he started cursing at reporters again. The Chargers finally gave up on Ryan Leaf. He finished his career with 33 interceptions and only 13 touchdowns. Number 5, Achilles Smith. Achilles Smith was a college legend. He broke all the records and was an obvious first-round pick. He was an athletic freak. He was even drafted in the MLB draft. Baseball. The NFL and the MLB were fighting to get their hands on Achilles Smith, but he chose football. Donovan McNabb, a Hall of Famer, went number 2 overall, and the Bengals had the number 3 pick. They were so happy because they didn't want McNabb, they wanted Achilles Smith. But those college skills did not carry over to the NFL, as he had one of the worst quarterback careers of all time. As a rookie, Achilles had an argument with the Bengals about his contract. He missed all of training camp because he didn't want to play until his contract was settled. A rookie missing his first training camp? That is a recipe for disaster. In his rookie season, what was his problem? Take a guess. He didn't know the playbook, so he didn't know how to run the offense. But things got even worse. Once he finally started practicing, the Bengals coaches said he doesn't study. He shows 0 effort. A good quarterback is somebody always studying, always preparing for the defense they're about to play. That's why Tom Brady is the GOAT. Achilles Smith had 0 football IQ. He had a negative IQ. In 17 starts, Achilles Smith had 3 wins and 14 losses. He threw 5 touchdowns and 13 interceptions. Put me in, coach, because I'm throwing for more touchdowns than that. The Bengals released Achilles Smith. Number 4, Josh Rosen. Josh Rosen was drafted number 10 overall, and he said something crazy. He said 9 mistakes were made, and that he would prove everyone that he was the best player in the whole draft. It's safe to say Josh Rosen was not a prophet, because he was literally the worst player in the entire draft. In his rookie season with the Cardinals, Rosen had a terrible record of 3-10. He had 11 touchdowns and 24 turnovers. Maybe I do stink. and the drama begins. In the offseason, the Cardinals coach said he is our quarterback. And the coach lied because right after that in the draft, they took Kyler Murray at quarterback and traded Josh Rosen the next day. That's embarrassing. Josh Rosen started 3 games for the Dolphins. He lost all 3 of them. He had 1 touchdown and 5 interceptions. He somehow did even worse on the Dolphins than on the Cardinals. I think he would have played better if he was wearing a blindfold. Moving on to the top 3. Number 3, Andre Ware. Andre Ware won the Heisman Trophy in 1989. Andre Ware had a chance to become the NFL GOAT if he could keep doing what he did in college. The Lions drafted Andre Ware at number 7 overall. This pick was super controversial. The Lions already had Barry Sanders, the best running back in NFL history. All they needed was a good quarterback and the Lions would be Super Bowl contenders. But something happened that we never see. First round quarterbacks are always given 1 year to prove that they are good. But the Lions did something crazy. Andre Ware was so bad in training camp that the Lions put him on the bench before the season even started. In his 4 years with the Lions, he always came off the bench. In 1994, the Lions were sick and tired of Andre Ware and they released him. But someone else wanted to give him a chance. The Raiders, they believed in Andre Ware. They believed he could be a star. Until about 1 week later, they realized he was terrible and they also released him. Thankfully, the NFL has protected our eyes by not having any footage of Andre Ware's worst play. Number 2, Charles Rogers. Charles Rogers was the biggest wide receiver prospect of all time. He was expected to be an NFL GOAT at the wide receiver position because in college he broke every record possible. But Charles Rogers was the biggest waste of talent in NFL history. In his rookie season, he broke his collarbone, out for the season. He returned next year in 2004, and in the first play, he broke his collarbone again and was out for another season. Charles was prescribed medication for his pain, but sadly, he got addicted. When he finally returned in 2005, he was suspended by the NFL for violating their drug policy. When Charles Rogers returned from his suspension, the Lions released him. They said he put no effort in practice. He thought his talent was good enough and he didn't need to practice. Charles Rogers got chances with the Dolphins, the Buccaneers, and the Patriots because they all knew about his talent, but they all saw how little effort he put in practice, and none of those teams gave him a chance to play in a game. So Charles retired from football. The worst play of his career wasn't even caught on camera because it happened in practice where he showed no effort. And number 1, before number 1, honorable mention, Heath Shuler. The Washington Redskins were desperate for a quarterback. So with the number 3 pick, they put all of their hope in Heath Shuler. He almost won the Heisman Trophy, finishing in 2nd place. His arm was so strong that in practice when he threw a pass and the wide receiver caught it, the ball literally deflated. I have never heard that in football history, unless it was done on purpose. Washington felt so lucky to have him at number 3, but that feeling of luck ran out pretty quickly. When Shuler got drafted, he was at a party with 400 family and friends celebrating. I don't even know 400 people. He started for Washington in his rookie season and they went 3-13. Washington was always bad, but this was their worst record in 33 years. This was historically bad. In week 7, Heath Shuler threw 1 touchdown and 5 interceptions against the Cardinals, who weren't even a good team. This is the moment moment Washington turned against Heath Schuler. The fans and the coaches, they all wanted a new quarterback. He finished the season with a 43% passer rating. That is impossibly bad. Washington traded him to the Saints, and he played even worse. He passed for 2 touchdowns and 14 interceptions. One of the worst stat lines in sports history. And obviously, his career was over. And I just need to know, are we positive he's not blind? And number 1, Tim Couch. The worst player in NFL history was a number 1 pick. The fans were in love with Tim Couch and put all their hope in him. The Browns' plan was to bench Couch for the first season so he could learn and then start him in the second season. But that plan fell apart when they lost their first game 43-0 to the Steelers. After 1 game, it was Tim Couch time. And what happened? A complete meltdown. Tim Couch led the Browns to a 2-14 record. One of the worst records in NFL history. The Browns released him. But then the Packers gave him a chance, and one of the craziest things I've ever heard happen. Tim Couch was injured. He hurt his arm and elbow, but he didn't tell the Packers. He kept it as a secret so they would sign him. But then the Packers found out Tim Couch's NFL career was over. Congratulations on being the worst player